Hey guys, I wanted to talk about one of the things that has made the biggest difference for me as a preacher, and that I think is just a huge thing in whatever field you're at. It is the idea of continuing education. That's what we're going to talk a little bit about today on Help Me Preach. So, when I'm talking about continuing education, I'm talking about really developing yourself. And basically, I want to give you some areas where these have just really made a huge difference in my work and the level that I'm at now, and where it will continue to help me with that. So, the first thing that I did for continuing education is I went through a training program. So I don't know how many of you might necessarily want to do this or would fall into this category, but it was really huge for me. So I did 2 years at a church in Lufkin. It was a great situation. I learned so much. I really appreciate Kyle and Jim, who have been my mentors in that. And it has been one of those things that really took me from what I thought was a lot of Bible knowledge to actually having a whole lot more. And so that program really stressed Bible knowledge, and it also was a lot about evaluating your public speaking and just a lot of different things, your work in any way. It was something like 5 classes a week, and then I taught a class, and then lots of other stuff. It just was crazy. I was doing that whenever I was going to school as well. But anyway, so the first area, if you're out there and you're trying to think about how you want to try to get better at this, so that might be one area that you want to start at. I see this all the time, and I know a lot of friends of mine that have gone through training programs and all that kind of thing. It's not necessary, but it is very helpful. So that's one of the things that I think would be pretty helpful to consider and to think about. One thing that I really liked, just kind of in addition, is that it was a really good experience for me to be in a safe environment to study. And so what I mean by that is that it was really a good church, and they had elders, and they had a very specific role that they wanted me to work in, and they were very helpful in the sense of being encouraging and really helping us to learn more about the work and all that kind of thing. And so anyway, if you're looking at continuing education and you're someone that is maybe pretty new, or maybe you're doing this as a part-time guy, that might be something that you look into. Sometimes the people that do those programs, they have their classes, and those are actually something that could be available for you to look at in the area, and so you could go through and do that. All right, so number 2 is short, focused trainings. Now this has been gold for me as well. So what I mean about short, focused trainings is things that are kind of like a week or maybe just a few days. And so some of the things that come to mind for me, I've been to basically 3 different ones. So I've been to YPW, that's Young Preachers Workshop. That's with Mark Roberts and Warren Berkeley. I've actually been doing that. I think I went the first year like 12 years ago. So anyway, it's been really good. I haven't gone every single year because of all kind of different things. But I remember the first year I got there, and I think Mark Roberts talked about the preaching calendar, and it's totally, and that among tons of other things, has totally rocked my world in the sense of how I go about my work. And so it is very helpful. Now, another one that I've been to that has been very helpful is boot camp, or it's now called Preacher's Workshop at Dowling Road. And so that used to be done by Max Dawson. It used to be done also by Ben Lee, and Chris Emerson did it too. Now David Banning does it, and mostly Max Dawson as well. But that is another really good situation, another really good opportunity. It's kind of different than YPW. YPW is basically 2 really short, intense days, where the Preacher's Workshop down there is really kind of a combination of basically about 4 days or so. Anyway, really good opportunities. I've been to both in the same year, and it's really, really handy. Another one that's been really good, and actually I got clued into this through another buddy of mine that I knew that was preaching at the time, but it was actually the Edwards training, and he went all the way up to, oh man, I think Indiana. I'm not sure. It's somewhere way up north. I'm sure someone might correct me. Anyway, if you know what it is, put it in the comments. But uh, he went all the way up there, and it's a 2-week training, and they give you tons of books, and they pretty much take you from like not knowing anything to here's overview of the Bible, and like it's a cram session. Basically, what they did is they took their 2-year program and put it into a 2-week program that they could try to give to everybody. So it's pretty cool. So what they did on top of that is they took that 2 weeks and they put it into a week. And so I got to go down to a training in Baytown with Jesse Flowers down there. I had some buddies of mine that went down there. It was super intense, tons of information. It's more basic in a lot of ways, a lot more like just teaching in the sense of like Bible instruction, not necessarily like your work, but it was really good and I really recommend it. So the thing is, those are always going to be valuable. And what's cool is that a lot of times they're free. Usually people don't charge for that because they're really supportive of it. And all you got to do is get there. And so it's always worth the cost. Now, let me look at a third category with you. A third category is actually one-day studies. This is actually something that happens from time to time. For example, they would do this in Jacksonville. This is way over here in Texas. But it was a one-day study. And so they've done different topics and that kind of thing. And it's been really good. And those focus studies are really, really handy. And so I know that a lot of people in a lot of other areas do that kind of thing. And it's not necessarily like how to help your work per se, even though there may be things in there. But it's a specific topic that they're going to in depth. And so regardless, that's another area that you get value out of by going and putting the time in there. It's just another investment in yourself that can turn around to be lessons, or it can just turn around to be something that helps to bring depth. All right, and number 4, and this has been one of the biggest for me, is basically mentorships. Now, what I mean by that is you go through and find someone, or you have a relationship with someone, and you start asking them for particular guidance. And so I had one when I was in Greenville. I've had one here. I've done it just kind of in various places. And so for me, one of the things that I do is I think about like who I want to be and maybe a particular emphasis that someone's good at, or any number of other things that go into it. And I think about a person that does that well, and I say, hey, that's the person I want to go to. And I'll talk to him and I ask him questions, and sometimes it's pretty short. Maybe I just get lunch with them. Or maybe it's something that they're gracious enough to provide, once a month for however long, and I've done that. And that has just been really, really, really good and really helpful. And so sometimes that can be helping you through struggles that you're in, or burnout, or just helping you work through certain areas that you need to have correct in your mind, or whatever. So for you, what you need to do is you need to find people in your area that you can draw off of, talk to, go there, and just sit at their feet and just listen. You may not agree with every single thing, but just listen, try to understand that they have a lot of experience that you don't have. Take notes and sit there and just allow that to shape and mold you and to help your thinking. So that's my 4 things. I'm sure there's other things that fit into it, but for me that has changed so many things and has really, really helped me. And so to all those that may be watching this, I really, really appreciate the investment that you put in me, and I'm trying to pay that forward with some of this information. So I will say this, again, all of these things are important, but they have to come after the foundation with a focus of Bible reading and prayer and all that type of thing, is that these are men that are fallible. They can have the right information. They can not have the right information. So definitely just be careful with all of that. But these guys do have wisdom, and the Proverbs are just full of the value that is brought about by having wise counselors. So anyway, if you have more comments, more ideas of things that help you to grow and to develop, maybe there's something I missed, feel free to write in the comments. Maybe you got someone that you have really been shaped by and you have something that you want to add. Do that. So if you haven't liked this, hit like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also make sure when you subscribe that you hit the little bell up there. Sometimes I've talked with people and they didn't know that the video was out. The video will send you a notification through YouTube if you'll have the bell clicked, and then you also have the YouTube app. So just keep that in mind. So like it, share it with your friends if you would like to, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, y'all hit me up. All right, have a good one. Thanks.